What's up and welcome my friends back to another video. What we're going to be doing today is, I know a lot of people say the reason why they quit skateboarding or want to quit skateboarding is because their friends aren't doing it with them anymore. Now what I'm going to give you today is a bunch of tips for those skaters that maybe don't have people to skate with or want to find more people to skate with. I've got a bunch of tips for you, and while we do that I'm going to set up this board, the brand new escapism board, so let's get into the video. Right, so first thing we've got to do is take our trucks off this impact board right here. By the way, if you want to see a dedicated review on this, do let me know and I'll put it on the second channel, which you can find linked below. But the first tip, and probably the most obvious one that you're going to need if you want to get your friends back into skateboarding, is try to motivate them. A lot of people lack motivation to do things, especially physical activities, and especially this time of year when it gets towards the winter. So if you've got friends that are maybe feeling a bit unmotivated, you've got to get them back into it. Show them things that you've learned, show them videos, get them in the spirit, in the mood to get outside and try stuff. Obviously, it's a bit more difficult when the weather's like this, especially if you live in the UK. But if you live in the US, obviously you're a bit more blessed. But I would just recommend trying to get them hyped, trying to get them into the mood of skateboarding. You've probably already tried this one, so we've got a lot better tips as we go on forward, but it's the most obvious one, so I thought I would start with that. But yeah, that's tip number one. Try to motivate them, whether it be through videos, showing them what you've learned, or just hyping them up at home. All right, so tip number two. This is one that I definitely needed to hear when I was younger, and that's don't try and force them into it. Some people are just not built for skateboarding. For example, if you've got a friend that maybe thought skateboarding was a good idea, then they had a bad fall or just a medium fall or even a light fall, and all of a sudden they're too scared to try it again. Yes, you can motivate them and you can get them back into it, but if they're gonna be put off by falling over, skateboarding is just not for them. Like, sometimes it's just not for people. Not everybody is meant for every sport, activity, art form, whatever you want to call skateboarding. So if they've had a fall and they can't take it, it's not meant for them, because it's just part of the fun. Because in skateboarding, you've got to throw yourself at the concrete and still find it fun. If you can't do both, it's just not meant for you. Now, I've got like 15, 16 odd tips for this. That was the first two. I'm just going to finish getting these trucks off and put them onto my new board, which, by the way, small shout out. If you want to buy one of these boards, we've got about 20 of them left. And if you do buy one, you get a free set of wheels with every purchase. So link in the description for that. Okay, tip number three. You guys have heard of the term FOMO. FOMO means fear of missing out. Basically what you want to do is, if your friends aren't getting into skateboarding, or maybe they're not coming out as much as they should, start posting your skateboarding online. Even if you're just posting yourself learning a new trick, which, by the way, if you actually want to get good at skateboarding, you should be trying to learn new tricks as often as possible. Don't get bogged down doing the same stuff over and over again. It happens to so many people and it will stunt your progression very quickly. So keep learning new stuff, post it online, send it to them on Snapchat or whatever messaging service you use, and basically use that, like, without saying anything, just send it as a story clip or whatever, and then just try and get them to, you know, feel like they're missing out on the skate scene. If you're having a great time at the skate park with a few people, send that to them. But I guess if you're watching this video, you probably aren't having a good time with a few people, because you're watching a video on what to do if your friends quit skateboarding. So yeah, post as much as you can about your own skateboarding, and perhaps that will get them motivated. And another thing is, now this isn't always going to work. Obviously, some people, like I said in the last tip, just don't really get on with skateboarding. They might have liked the idea of it, thought it looked cool, but don't really want to put in the effort. I find that a lot of people that start skateboarding and then stop really like the idea of being able to do tricks, but as soon as they realize how difficult it is, they kind of give up. Skateboarding is for a lot more of a hardcore individual than most, because, like I said before, you've got to be able to throw yourself at the concrete and still enjoy it. So if after all those tips I've given you so far, your friends still aren't into it, they might just not be built for skateboarding, to be honest. But I've got 11 more tips on how to find new friends, so make sure you keep watching. Now, while I tighten the bolts on this board, by the way, what do you think of the honeycomb grip tape? I think with the yellow top ply, it looks really nice, and we've got the brickwork on the bottom. Holly did a great job of this. I come up with the ideas, Holly executes them, and she's done this one extremely well. So big up to Holes in the comments. But next tip is, if you want to find some skateboard friends, sometimes you're gonna have to go up the park with no friends. When I come up here for the first time ever, I was so anxious. I literally just sat on the bench and just sat there and just watched for like an hour or two. And then the other skaters ended up seeing me just sitting there with my skateboard and then coming over and talking to me themselves and then just getting me more involved in the friend group. And I was the youngest by far. I think I was like 10 and everybody else skating was like 16, 17. But skateboarding is one activity that it doesn't seem to matter what age you are or the age difference between your friends. Like I've got people that I skate with that are sponsored on our escapism team that are 16 years old, and these kids are awesome. Like obviously you wouldn't see me like chilling with them at my home, but still, like having friends at the skate park, they can be any age. So if you've got people that come to the park that are a lot older than you, don't be intimidated, although easier said than done, I know. But just go out and meet new friends. And another thing, join Facebook groups, join Discords. I've got a Discord with nearly 1,000 people in it. Admittedly, we don't use it as much these days, but there's still a bunch of people in there that are probably in a similar position to you. So I'll link it in the description and I'll try to use it a lot more if possible. So go join that and also try and join other skate Discords, because who knows, there might be a lot more people in your area that you didn't know about. All right, now with the fresh board set up, I'm really enjoying that. For some reason, right, I feel like if there's a board that I really enjoy, that I've really spent a lot of time like crafting up and coming up with an idea, executing a grip pattern, I always feel like I skate it a lot better and I just appreciate it a lot more. Like I'm a lot less likely to ride this through a puddle than I would be if it was just a regular grip pattern, you know? So yeah, really enjoy that. But on to the next tip.
Very cool.
So I just told you the last one that you can find skate groups on Discord and on Facebook, but don't worry, if you're over 30 and maybe you don't want to be hanging out with a bunch of kids, which fair enough, if you're skating and there's already people here of all age groups, that's perfectly fine, but you don't want to be going online and chatting to kids saying meet up at the skate park. That is just weird, all right? Obviously, we all know that, but when you're over 30, you can often find skate groups of people that are also over 30. Like I was once introduced to this skate group online that you might have heard of, the Bones Brigade, like the old school Powell Peralta team and all that. There was one called the Brittle Bones Brigade that was just all older people that I thought that was hilarious, but there's a ton of groups like that online. Just got to search it up, go on Facebook, go on Discord, you'll find a bunch of things. You've just got to be active and look for them. So next up, maybe you don't want to use online groups. Maybe you don't want to chat to people online. Perfectly fine, I understand that, especially if you're 30, 40, 50, whatever it may be. You should get with the times, but if you don't want to, I get that. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to come to the skate park in the evening time. So if you wanna skate alone and practice some stuff on a solo mission, come here in the mornings, come here like 7, 8, 9 a.m. Oftentimes it's gonna be super quiet. But if you wanna meet new people, come here in the evenings, 5, 6, 7 p.m. after people finish work and schools and college and university and whatnot. Come down here and just skate around. Like if you're just skating and doing your thing as if the park was empty, as long as you're looking where you're going and stuff, people are gonna come up to you, and skateboarders and other sports, you're just going to naturally get to know them a lot better. So if you really do care about meeting new people and meeting new friends, just come here in the evenings and just get to work. And I'm sure you'll make more than you ever thought you could. Right, so it's not just about finding new people to skate with. You've also got to stay motivated yourself, because I get it, right? You come down here, there's no one down here, you have no friends to skate with, it's going to be hard to keep yourself motivated. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to watch tons of skateboarding online just to find inspiration, to find other people that you're going to relate to, comment on other people's skate clips. Hopefully they'll comment back on yours and maybe you can spark a friendship there. But mainly just watch the skateboarding, learn from it, see what other people are doing and try and implement that into your own skateboarding. But to be honest, if you're watching this video, you've already made the first step. You're online, you're trying to find solutions for your problem, which is more than most people will ever do. So just do everything you can to keep yourself motivated, because skateboarding is an absolutely incredible thing to have, and it teaches you so many life lessons, like the ability to persevere when something is difficult and you're falling over and you're hurting yourself, but you still go and you get that trick. Invaluable life lesson. So stick with it, whatever you do, don't give up, and watch as much online to inspire yourself as you can. Now this next one is something that I recommend for a lot of people, and that basically is tracking your own progress in a notebook or in the Notes app on your phone. Film yourself, even if you're right at the beginning of your skateboarding career. That's the best place to start, because think of it, in a year's time, in 2 years' time, when you look back and see what you've learned and how much effort you've put in and how much progress you've made, you can really see the difference across a long period of time. If you're coming down here, you come down here one day, you try to learn a trick, you come down here the next day, you don't get that trick, you come down here the day after, you don't get that trick. It can feel like you're stuck in a stagnated position. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're not coming down and trying new things, you will be stuck in a stagnated position, but you need to just keep trying new things and learn over long periods of time. You're not going to come down here one day and all of a sudden have 4 or 5 new tricks, unless of course you're really putting the effort in. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely possible to learn tricks fast, but most people, that's not going to be the case, especially when you've got almost no knowledge to begin with. Once you get experienced enough, you can learn more stuff on top of what you already know. But for now, focus on progression over long periods of time. Track it in your notes, what you've learned today, what you want to learn next week, what you want to learn in 6 months, and then film it. Put it all in a folder and look back every year, every 2 years, maybe make a progression video, who knows? But yeah, in my opinion, that's the best way to see your own progress. Next up, if you are a skateboarder, maybe you're a BMXer, maybe you're even a scooter rider, don't focus on making friends with only the people that ride the same sport as you. I've had some good times over the years with some BMXers. I've even had some good times, dare I say it, with some scooter riders over the years. So don't just focus on making friends with the people that do what you do. Obviously, that's probably going to be your primary friend group because you're going to be bouncing stuff off each other. But it's not the only people that you can chill with. Like, as long as you're all using the skate park, rollerblader, scooter, biker, inliner, freestyler, I don't know, you can pretty much be friends with anybody. And as long as you're all using the park and you're all coming down here, chilling, chatting, doing whatever together, then it's a great place to be. Like, just make friends with anybody that's here. Doesn't matter if your skate park only has one skateboarder, some of them do. Make friends with the BMXers. It's just the way it has to be sometimes. So don't get yourself pigeonholed into one group of people. We can be friends with anyone, all right? So, next. Ow. Try and bring new people into the sport. So maybe you've got some friends at work, maybe you've got some friends at school that have never tried it. Maybe it's time to bring them down the park, let them have a go on your skateboard, especially if there's not many people here. I'd recommend, if you're bringing someone new to the park, come down here either in the mornings or early on the weekend, just so that they can have a go without loads of people watching them, because I know, right? It's scary, especially when there's a lot of people here. Majority of them aren't going to be sitting around watching you as a beginner, but it's always in the back of your head. I know it, you know it. Even if it's not happening, it's always going to be an anxiety for most people. But you might find that the next best skateboarder is the person that had never tried it before. You just had to inspire them to pick up the board. That's how I started. Me and my friend were playing Tony Hawk's American Wasteland together. He said, why don't you come down and try skateboarding with me one day? I did, and I was hooked ever since. Now, don't get me wrong. You can't force someone to be coming down the park every single day with you, but who knows? Just bring someone from work, bring someone that wants to try it but has never tried it, and you might find yourself with a new best skateboarding friend. On to the next one. So the next one, maybe you're a beginner, maybe you're a slightly older skateboarder that used to skate but hasn't done it in like 20 years. Either way is fine for this one, but what I want you to do is look for local skate lessons. Number one, you're going to meet up with a local skateboarder who's going to know the scene, going to know the people, and going to be a great introduction for you into the rest of the skate scene in the local area. And you're also going to get some tips and tricks if you're new to skateboarding, and you're also going to get some skate park etiquette training. So while you may be like, okay, do I need a lesson? I don't really want to pay for it. Just do it once or twice, even if it's just to get to know the person, and then just meet up with them outside of the skate lesson and just skate with them. You don't necessarily have to ask them for tips. Just use the skate lesson as a gateway to get in and just start making friends. Like, it's as simple as that, really. Look up online local skate lessons in my area and just do 1 or 2, see how it feels. Maybe you'll find out that you really like the skate lessons and you're learning a lot. Stick with them if you want to. You don't have to if you don't want to. But yeah, there are tons of people that get into skateboarding, especially in their 20s, 30s, 40s even, that would have never tried it, but because they've got someone holding their hand and helping them, it can really help some people. It's not for everybody, don't get me wrong. I've never personally paid and done a skate lesson, mainly because when I started 15 years ago, there wasn't really anybody doing skate lessons, but nowadays they're plentiful. So especially if you're in a big city like London, Cambridge, Reading, LA, I'm sure there's skate teachers everywhere. So just look it up online and get into it. Okay, next up If you're lucky enough to have an indoor skate park near you, there are great things at indoor skate parks. They have like certain nights for, number one, they have nights for skate only. Like, I'm going to use London as an example here, Hop King. They have a skate night only. I think actually Hop King is skateboards only all the time, but they also have like a gay night where like trans, bisexuals, gay people can go in and just feel like they're amongst like-minded people, which I feel like they should be able to do at any skate park at any time. But if you're nervous and you feel like you might be judged, like a lot of people even outside of those demographics feel like they will be at a skate park, you can go there and hang out with people that are very much similar to you are. So I'd highly recommend looking up stuff like that. There are women's only nights, so you can go and meet other women skateboarders. There are just regular skate only nights, so if it's a big indoor skate park and oftentimes it's packed by scooters or BMXers or something like that, you can go and hang out with just skateboarders. But definitely check out the indoor skate parks, go on their websites, have a look at what sort of like individual nights they do, because oftentimes there can be a plethora of different ones that maybe only for a couple of hours, like once a week, but it's a great gateway into one, meeting people that are similar to you, and two, just having fun with other skateboarders, especially if you're in a big city and if you're lucky enough to have an indoor skate park. Definitely take advantage of it, because where I live, the nearest indoor skate park there's one in Norwich, which is 50 miles away, but that one is mainly a BMXer and scooter park. The nearest actual skate park is close to 100 miles away in London. So definitely take advantage of it if you have it, please, please. And also, the indoor skate park is a great place to find lessons. So don't miss out on that opportunity. The next one. Now, especially if you're a little bit of an experienced skateboarder, try and motivate the people around you. So if you're at the skate park and maybe you've got a group of younger skaters there that aren't maybe having a great time at the minute, maybe they're getting bogged down with their progression, try and motivate them, teach them as much as you can, because think of it, right? The younger generation of skateboarders are the number ones that are going to keep the whole thing going for as long as it possibly can go for. If all the kids quit, you're going to find a lot less people buying skateboards, a lot less skate parks being opened for skateboarders specifically. And it's just like, if you're an experienced skateboarder and you've got that knowledge and someone's helped you when you were younger, pass that knowledge on. For me, when I was younger, I had some of the older skateboarders always donating me old boards, old trucks, old wheels, and now I pass that on to other skateboarders that are younger than me now. So if you look after someone, they'll look after the people younger than them, and hopefully that chain will keep rolling throughout the years, because I've given away so many, and I mean so many skateboards and parts and whatnot to random people that I've never even met before. So pass on the gift of skateboarding and never let an old board go to waste. If you see someone with like a half snap board and you've got one that's barely used that you don't use anymore, just give it to them. Obviously you might want to be collecting boards yourself, but come on, it's going to be a lot better off in the hands of a skateboarder that's actually going to use it. So inspire the younger people at the skate park, help them learn new things, and that goes the same for older people that just want to get back into it. So never let anyone go unmotivated at the skate park, especially if you have the knowledge and ability to do so. And finally, for my last point, don't let lack of progress beat you down and stop you from coming back to the skate park. We all get stuck in a rut sometimes. We all get into a point where we've learned a few tricks and we only do those tricks. Like I've said in the points previous to this one, watch skateboarding to find motivation, watch other skateboarders and make as many friends as you can so you can all learn and bounce off each other. Play games of skate with the other skaters, no matter what the skill gap is. Maybe it's a brand new skateboarder and you have a game with them and you're a lot better. Just skate switch against them. Use each other to bounce off and like try and inspire them to learn new tricks. And when there's a skateboarder that's much better than you, challenge them to a game of skate, because they'll show you what tricks you're not good at and what you should be learning in order to stay on top of your game. But just don't let it get you down, because it happens to everybody. Skateboarding is such a great thing and I just want to spread it to as many people as possible. So in order to stay motivated, make sure you subscribe to this channel and keep watching for all new motivation, vid, trick inspiration. But that's pretty much it for this one. I'll see you guys in the next one.